talk to you for a minute or two, and then we're going to really make things happen. My name is Moira McCarthy, and while I have a lot of credentials that I could share with you, like JDRF volunteer for 15 years, best-selling author, well-known diabetes blogger, my most important title is very well recognized by the very important initials that come after my name, and I want you to use them. M-O-M. I am a mom, and that's why I'm here. That's what brings me here, and that's what drives me every day. So you know that feeling? I want you all to think about this for a second. You have a child in your arms who you really care about. It can be your child, your grandchild, your niece, that little cute kid in the neighborhood you care about, and you're just holding them and you look at them, and they're so peaceful, and you look at them and you think, oh, all is well. Well, I have to tell you that I have not been able to have that feeling with my daughter since 2:35 p.m. on October 28, 1997, because that is the exact moment in time that type 1 diabetes came into our lives. That is the exact moment in time when I turned from just a mom to a guard, and I have been that way for almost 16 years. Now, I don't want you to think that means my life or my daughter's life has been dire and despair. It hasn't been. Quite the opposite. Because despite diabetes, my daughter has gone on to do amazing things. She's thrived. She's been a class president and a homecoming queen, but not without walking out onto the football field with a shaking low as she was crowned. She's been a really bad but enthusiastic field hockey player and a state tennis champion, but not without tanking that championship the year before because of the high blood sugar that took over in the second set of the finals. She's been so many things, a college student far, far away, doing great and getting great grades, but not without making her first ER visit from a stomach bug and diabetes without her mom with her this year. But that's okay too. She's a worker, a driver, a skier, and a friend, but not without diabetes overlaying every moment in time. Sorry about I have to lean into this microphone, that's why I look weird, sorry. And to that I say that's okay, because we have something amazing, my daughter and me, as do each one of you in this room. And I want you to think about this. We have hope, and we have proof that hope can do amazing things. You know, when Lauren was first diagnosed so long ago, I struggled to understand what hope was. I wanted to hold it. I wanted to run my fingertips across it and feel it. I needed to feel hope. Well, luckily I found JDRF, and through my education at JDRF, I learned that hope takes on many, many dimensions. Like this one. When Lauren was diagnosed in 1997, experts told us that her lifespan would be 15 years less than her contemporaries because of type 1 diabetes. I can stand here today and tell you that is no longer true because of breakthroughs in innovation, CGMs, better meters, better insulins. She will live as long as or longer than her peers. That is unbelievable progress and hope, and that just makes me so happy. It's pretty amazing to think that I was in a room where they said that, and now I can be in a room where I can say this because of people like you. Another example, back then doctors would warn you about the 15-year rule. In 15 years, they would tell you, you will begin to see the beginning of complications. Be ready for it. Well, I stand here today, almost into her 16th year, to tell you that there are no complications, nor are there any on the horizon. And again, this is because of the work that JDRF has done. Better treatments for eye disease, prevention of kidney disease, and my daughter is a recipient of that. Through her difficult teen years, she was put on a medication that protected her kidneys. I hoped for her future to change, and in fact, her future has already changed thanks to JDRF. Complications are going to be a thing of the past really soon, thanks to people in a room like this. Still, I'm going to confess that at times I question hope. It's not easy to have a child with an incurable disease. The teen years were very rough for us. Lauren grew weary of diabetes, frankly didn't want anything to do with it anymore. I was sick of nagging and nagging and nagging and constant oversight. The idea of having "Did you bolus" tattooed on my head wasn't such a good one. But it was a tough time. And I thought to myself, when will this ever end? And so I wished for something more. I wished for hope to take on a new kind of tangibility for me and for her. I dug deep and I worked hard. I did my first JDRF ride, 105 miles through Death Valley. Raised $40,000 because I wanted to feel that hope. And I want to tell you that last month, no lie, I held hope in my hands. I ran my fingertips over it, just like I dreamt of almost 16 years ago. I turned it around and I marveled at it. Because last month, I sat next to a young woman named Anna, one of Lauren's friends from diabetes camp, while she was on the artificial pancreas or bionic pancreas trial that you just heard Tom talk about if you could hear it. I've known Anna since she was a little girl, but since I've known her from diabetes camp, I've never known her as anything but Anna with diabetes. That day we sat in a restaurant in Boston. She ordered lunch and she didn't count the carbs. She ate and chatted with me and she didn't reach down to bolus. Yet on the machine in front of us, an iPhone really, her blood sugars remained steady, stable. Yeah, I'm not afraid to say the word stable, and any moms and kids with diabetes know how much they hate that word. I cannot explain what it felt like to see Anna without the burden of diabetes on her in front of me. But I'm going to let Anna explain it to you. Because here's what she said to me, and listen carefully. It really astounded me. She said, while I was in the trial, the troubleshooting went away, completely away. Because of that, and listen to this, I had no guilt. I had no shame. I was forced to give up all that to technology, and man, it worked and it felt good. I couldn't believe when she said that to me. In other words, the artificial pancreas, envisioned by JDRF and funded by us, we people in this room, actually cures part of what diabetes does to you. The emotional toll that daily care puts on you. And if we can do that, cure that, while we work toward the biological answer, that seems amazing to me. So I went home with my heart soaring, and I called my daughter in college, and I told her the story, and then this happened. She, on her own, applied for and was accepted into the bionic pancreas trial, the very same one that my dear Anna was in. That means that in a few days, up in Boston, I will sit down to eat dinner with my daughter, and for the first time in almost 16 years, look at her without seeing carb counts and boluses and basals and blood sugars and, yes, parental fear. Instead of being on guard, I'll simply sit with her and enjoy her, something I have not been able to completely do since 2:35 p.m. on October 28, 1997. That day in Boston, I'm going to pick my daughter up and spin her around. She is going to be so embarrassed in that restaurant, I tell you that. I'm going to scream and shout, maybe dance, because that day, I will touch hope in the truest form I can possibly imagine, in the form of the body of my daughter, free of the weight of daily care. More so, just like you holding that child you care so much about and thinking, all is well. For the first time in a decade and a half, I'll do just that with my daughter, Lauren. My hope will be real, and my hope will be so very sweet. I cannot wait for that moment that I've waited 16 years for. And so I want you tonight to realize this. We made this happen. This team of parents and patients and friends and uncles and cousins and business leaders who are just kind enough to care, and strangers who hear what we are doing and want in on our mission and our fun. We are changing the future of all with type 1 diabetes daily. Because every minute of the trial my daughter will savor, every breakthrough we have in biological information like regeneration and encapsulation, every time we help someone who's down and out think, well, maybe there is a better future for me. It comes from right here in rooms like this. So when you donate tonight, think of my daughter in that trial in a week or so. Imagine her feeling for the first time in her memory what it's like to be free of the burdens of diabetes. And please know in your heart that you made it real. We here in this room are JDRF. For more than 40 years, we have been the base and the source of every single breakthrough and advancement, not just in research, but in living well with diabetes until the cure. For me and for the world, were it not for JDRF, were it not for us, progress would not exist, hope would be hard to find, and I wouldn't be having the unbelievable experience I'm going to have next week. We are the people who are changing the world. One Gala bid, one trial, $1 of hope at a time. Hope is in our hands right here in this room. How powerful is that? Thank you for what you've done for my daughter.